All right. Hey guys,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? So we are live on Facebook. My name is Hillary. I am the director for the Clueston Chamber of Commerce, and this is a candidate forum for Hendry County Commission, the seat for District 4. And with us on, I guess you can just kind of wave because everybody's screen may look a little different, but we have Ramon Iglesias on the top of my screen and Michael Atkinson on right there, waving on the bottom of the screen. So thanks for joining us, guys. A few housekeeping items. We are going to do this, like we've done all the others. I would imagine that you guys have watched a couple, one or more of the other ones that we did yesterday. We have some questions that were sent to us and some questions that we had as the chamber. And then if time allows, we'll take a few questions from our Facebook feed. But even if time doesn't allow and we can't get to the questions on our Facebook feed, I encourage you guys individually to go to that feed and speak to your voters. You have the opportunity to talk directly to your voters on that Facebook feed. And I think that's a valuable opportunity to get to answer very specific questions that constituents might have. So you're encouraged to go to the Chamber's Facebook page and watch that live feed and the comments that come in and see if there's things that you can answer for the voters. I do ask that you guys limit your answers to about 2 minutes. I will, you'll hear an alarm in the background when you go over. I'll try to let you know when you're about 15 seconds out. It's hard because it's awkward for me to interrupt you when you're talking, so don't think I'm being rude. Just trying to keep things moving along so we can get to as many questions as we can. And then at the end, we will allow each candidate to speak directly to the voters for 2 minutes, and talk to the voters about why they should vote for you. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, well, we're gonna jump right in and we're gonna take turns going first. And going last, I think actually is the more coveted spot. So we're going to take turns going last. So we'll start with Raymond. Raymond, tell everybody your full name, where you're currently employed, and how does your current employment add to your qualifications to serve as Hendry County Commissioner representing District 4?
Okay, my name is Ramon Iglesias. I'm a lifelong resident of Clueston. I currently manage Roland and Marianne Martin's Marina. I don't handle the food and beverage side of the business, but I do handle all the other day-to-day operations. In my 16 years here at the Marina, we've seen a lot of catastrophes, whether it be Hurricanes Francis, Charlie, and Jean, Hurricane Wilma. We've had droughts, we've had high water issues, anything that affects that lake, that affects this Clueston economically, because when the lake has its issues, it's just not a Marina thing. So it affects the economics through the city of Clueston. Long story short, I've had to deal with many battles here at the Marina facing those operations, whether it be SBA loans. It's basically survival. In my 16 years here at the Marina, I cannot tell you, but probably 3 great years that we've had economically, because recessions affect normal businesses. Our businesses get affected by gas prices being high, water levels being high. So our business has to adapt monthly, if not yearly, to survive in these hard times.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna throw you on mute for a second and go to Mike. So Mike, the same question to you. Do you need me to repeat it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm Michael Atkinson. I work for David's Carpentry and Concrete. I'm actually the license holder for David's Carpentry and Concrete. I've ran the business for the last 10 to 11 years. I do everything from bidding to performing work. I've actually been on the roof all day today and sitting in the truck on a job site right now. But I believe that my experience as a contractor can help me in the position as county commissioner to help in the budgeting process and everything else on the construction side of things, to have an insight of what it takes. Other things is, we run our own business. So if we're not making money, we're in bad shape. So we have to look at everything on a day-to-day basis to keep us moving forward. So I believe as running my own company, having to make my own money, budget, and pull everything together to make a business run is why I would make a good county commissioner.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to stick with you, Mike, for this next question. It's important that our community leaders be engaged on issues that impact our county. For years, our community has been attacked by outside activists that falsely blame us for nearly all of South Florida's water issues. More recently, similar activists have drummed up a lawsuit over cane burning. If elected, what would you do to not only combat their lies, but also to help educate the citizens of Hendry County about these issues and speak out against misinformation?
Well, currently I'm the vice mayor of the city of Clewiston, so we talk to senators, we talk to House of Representatives, we try to, let them know what we face here. So we go all over now and talk to people in the surrounding areas, other commissioners. I've reached out to other mayors and stuff to talk to educate them, because they don't live here, so they don't know what we face. Same thing is we don't know what they face. So that's a good thing. Whenever we communicate with others around us, we tell them our side of things and we can find out their side. But if we never leave our own home, it's hard to get our story out and to get their story for everybody to be informed on all the issues. So I believe as a city commissioner, I have been active with these different types of things, talking to U.S. Sugar representatives, because of course they're, one of the biggest ones being blamed for cane burning. So I believe my track record as being a city commissioner, people can go back and look and see I've been very consistent with dealing with different issues like this.
Okay, thank you. And Raymond, the same question to you.
Okay, well, actually, that's my full-time job recently. The last 3 years, the marina has faced every environmental from South Florida to North Florida. And the biggest thing that we face is education. I've co-founded a group called Anglers for Lake Okeechobee to address the misinformation that is out on social media. That same misinformation is what's spreading the wrong details when it comes to cane burning. At the end of the day, with the elected officials that not only represent us, but are actually in Tallahassee. When we go to Tallahassee fighting for money north of the lake, we build those partnerships and they hear what's happening with ag. Listen, ag gets blamed for water issues. Ag gets blamed for cane burning. At the end of the day, they're going to blame ag for anything they can possibly get to so that they can actually acquire land and develop it. Listen, if you're not fighting or misguiding people, you can't fundraise. And that, unfortunately, is what we face day to day with the environmentalists attacking Hendry County.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to stick with you, Raymond, for the next one. We just kind of go back and forth. Lake Okeechobee is a jewel in our backyard. Its health is not only important for the lake's ecology, but also for maintaining and growing tourism here in Hendry County. What's your view on the current management of Lake Okeechobee? What Lake Okeechobee practices and projects do you support, and what changes would you advocate for?
Well, the management of the lake, well, you can hit that from every angle, to be honest with you. When it comes to water levels, unfortunately, we're under what they call a LOSUM, which is a Lake Okeechobee operating schedule, which is going through a big revamp. Unfortunately, voices in our area are not being heard as much as it should, and because people don't get engaged. Okay, people think that if you're not involved with the lake itself, or your business depends on it, or your livelihood, then at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter to you. But it really should, because not only does Lake Okeechobee affect tourism, it's ag. If that lake didn't exist, ag couldn't use that water. That being said, the management of the lake between the Army Corps, South Florida Water Management, and Florida Fish and Wildlife has gone array. And what I mean by that is, unfortunately, they're not following the normal guidelines they would typically use right now they're facing issues of, do they release water out of Lake Okeechobee? Yet again, we do have algae in our lake. Algae comes into this lake every summer, as it does in many bodies of water throughout the state. Unfortunately, South Florida Water Management and Army Corps are feeling the pressure from Facebook posts and people that are really not engaged at the right level, but they're applying the pressure to politicians where they'll make changes. As far as projects, the marina is very supportive of storage projects north of the lake that'll store water before it ever gets into the lake, which will actually help us control the amount of water that is alleviated to the east and west coast at any given time.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. Mike, the same question to you regarding Lake Okeechobee.
Well, first, I don't believe that the lake is being managed. I don't know if you could say correctly, but it's just too much wishy-washy back and forth. They have the Lawson plan, like Raymond alluded to, and it's almost like it depends on who's in charge, who's got the power in the Senate or the Congress, or who's the over the Corps of Engineers at the time, of what they're going to do. So there's too much back and forth, in my opinion, and it should be something that has the schedule and you follow it. Some of the projects that I would support and advocate for is storage north of the lake. It's like when you pressure wash a house, you've got to clean it from the top to the bottom. If they don't start where the pollution's coming from, they'll never see the results that they're wanting, which is what some of these activist groups are wanting, because they can continue to fundraise and raise millions of dollars. If they start cleaning the water from the north to the south, then they'll, their fundraising stuff is going to go away. So in my opinion, the storage north of the lake is what we need to focus on and do that from now on until we can get that done.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to stick with you, Mike. Agriculture is considered the economic engine to our area. The industry's indirect tax contributions are critical to our local government. If elected, what would you do to help support our local agriculture industry?
I've had a couple conversations with different executives of U.S. Sugar. Whenever I started to run for county commission, I went to them. At the city level, we really don't have a huge impact on sugar. And I told them that, I was a supporter of sugar and I wanted to be an advocate for them if I get to the county spot. So it's something that we would have to look at when we got there to see the difference, of what they're needing, what we have, so it's hard to answer that question of exactly what we would do because we don't have all the information at our fingertips right now. But definitely, I would be an advocate for agriculture, because if it wasn't for agriculture in our area, Clewiston and Hendry County wouldn't be what it is today.
Okay, thank you. And Raymond, the same question to you regarding agriculture.
So ag, of course, it's a big economic engine for Hendry County, but it's also an economic engine for our region. So I think we got to partner with the counties around us. We actually have to advocate for them in Tallahassee. We have to be a bigger voice for ag in Tallahassee. We have to be a bigger voice for ag against the activists, because if we continue at the rate we're going, the activists are going to win. Okay, the activists are going to kind of squeeze us out from what we call a rural area. So I'm all supportive of ag. Ag has been great to our region, and we need to continue that.
Okay, thank you. And this next question will stay with you, Raymond. Do you plan to promote any changes to the existing tax code, and if so, why?
Listen, I could sit here and tell you I'm going to lower taxes. Right? Everyone wants to promise running and says we're going to lower taxes, and I can't promise that. I can't tell you what I can promise other than I'll put my blood, sweat, and tears in anything that I do. I will tell you that what we need to increase in Hendry County is our tax base. And I think through growth, we can do that. And that tax base is going to give us many benefits. One being I'll give you an example. Mr. Weekly sold a piece of property there behind the refinery going on to the Seminole Tribe of Florida. 190 acres was changed from agricultural to industrial. It went from $11,600 on the tax roll to $227,000. A direct benefit to the hospital of $51,000, the county $103,000, schools $73,000. So as far as tax codes go, I cannot tell you that. I will tell you that a tax increase is not what we're looking for, but a tax base is what we need.
Okay, thank you. And Mike, the same question to you regarding taxes.
Okay, I got an example. The first year I was on the city commission, we had to turn down a grant from South Florida Water Management for $350,000 because the city didn't have $25,000 in contingency for their match. So when we went to the budgeting that year, we ended up having to raise taxes to put contingency money in the bank so that if any of these grants come along through the year, because you don't know when you're going to get them, you were able to have the match to be able to get that grant. $25,000 is a small amount when you're getting $350,000, but when you don't have it, so there's things that we have to look at, and that's what I would do if I get to the county commission, is look at it to see what we have to do, what we have, and what we need, and obviously every commissioner that's in there tries their best to keep taxes where they're at or try to lower them. I've never seen a commissioner in any time that I've been involved or when I've started to get involved and started watching that like to raise taxes. Everybody makes the promises that they won't raise taxes. They're going to lower taxes, but sometimes it's a lot easier said than done. And when you're in the hole, it's a lot harder to dig your way out than it is if you're at the ground level and going up. So I believe Hendry County's in a better position than they were years ago. So I think that things can be done where taxes won't have to be raised, but we'll have to just look at that every year at budget time to see what the needs are and where the county's going.
Okay, thank you. And so, sorry, I muted you and I should have left you open. The next one is for you, Michael. What do you see as the most pressing needs or the most pressing need for infrastructure or capital projects here in Hendry County?
Infrastructure is huge. For so long, everyone thinks that infrastructure, you put pipes in the ground and they're good forever. Clewiston is going through an I&I project now where we're having to go in and line pipes where, they're so old, they're having to be redone. Infrastructure is big in getting new developments, getting big box stores to come into Hendry County. Broadband internet is a huge issue that we're facing now with COVID, with people working from home, students having to work from home virtually. It's a huge deal. So I believe infrastructure with broadband, sewer, water, the airport, but we can't just focus on the big deals like the airport. We have to focus on small development, small infrastructure for single businesses as well to take care of what we have instead of always only focusing on the big picture. So with that being said, I believe infrastructure is one of the most important things that we need to work on at this time.
Okay, thank you. And now, Raymond, the same question to you.
I also agree with Michael that the infrastructure is a big deal. Listen, if a business wants to relocate to Hendry County and we're not ready for them, what do you think they're going to do? Are they going to go through the planning and zoning process, go through the plan unit developments and do everything they need to do to get to the point that says, you know what, we don't have the water and sewer to get you there. Now we're going to have to, the city, listen, Michael just told you the city doesn't have $25,000 to get a $350,000 match. We can't be in those type of positions. So at the end of the day, we need to have infrastructure. We need to have it in place prior to these businesses coming here, because those businesses are what's going to bring us the growth that we need and the jobs that we need.
Okay. Thank you. And Raymond, we're going to stick with you. What's your experience with preparing or authorizing budgets?
Well, here at the marina, like I mentioned to you before, we face catastrophes year after year. In my 16 years being here at the marina, basically had 3 good years. So we're constantly having to shuffle money around to make it work. At the marina, we basically our business operates from end of December through May is what we call our season. Just like sugar mill has its season or U.S. Sugar has its season, that's our crop, for example. We need to utilize that money to get us through the summer, which is dead. Listen, at the marina, we spend $15,000 to $22,000 a month on a light bill, and sometimes I have 5 rooms rented at the marina. Now, granted, that light bill covers the whole property, 13 acres, but we have to adapt day by day, month by month, and figure out where our dollars need to be spent to survive.
Okay, thanks. And now the same question to you, Mr. Atkinson.
So I've been involved with the city of Clewiston budget for the last 3 years. We're actually started our budget process Monday. So not only on that aspect of it, but in my business, when I bid a job, I have to go through the project. I have to go through and find out what materials I need, what labor I'm going to have, if I've got equipment and everything else. And I've got to budget all this in there. And that's just one step. When I get the job, I've got to make sure that I follow what I budgeted. So when I finish the job, everything is paid like I budgeted. And of course, got to have a profit at the end. So I believe with running my business and doing it from start to finish, bidding and running the jobs, that, I am able to successfully manage a budget.
Okay, right at the buzzer. We're actually going to stick with Mike. And what proactive strategies will you implement to recruit businesses appropriate to Hendry County?
Well, for one, we have to look at the types of industries that will benefit from being in Hendry County. The airport, for example, is a good one because they have agricultural products for the perishable items. So I believe we have to focus on those to get them to come. And I believe as a commissioner, we need to be engaged in those conversations with the county administrator, not, trying to go around them, but being involved with them to support the project and everything that goes with it. So, it's a complicated thing, and each individual project might take a little something different to try to get them here. So it's kind of on a case-by-case basis, I believe.
Okay, thank you. And the same question to you, Raymond.
Well, I think partnering with the Hendry Economic Development Council is going to be the way we need to move forward a little bit stronger than we've been. I think we need to be more aggressive. I think we need to vet businesses better. I know we've had some failed businesses that have promised us certain obligations, and unfortunately, they don't reach those obligations. But at the end of the day, we do need business. We need growth here in Hendry County. We need jobs. Listen, Hendry County has had for 23 years has been the longest running state or county in Florida with the highest unemployment rate in the state of Florida. We do need jobs. We do need to find the right jobs. And I think through the county commission, through Jennifer at the county administrator's level and the Economic Development Council, we can partner and get the right people here.
Okay, thank you. And Raymond, our final question sticks with you first. What are the biggest issues and challenges facing Hendry County's Board of Commissioners? If elected, how do you plan to approach these issues and challenges?
We've talked about it a couple of times, but I'll be honest with you, it's tax based. Listen, the county can't provide services if they don't have the money. Okay. I'll go back to what Michael mentioned earlier with the city. They didn't have $25,000 and lost $350,000. How that happened, I don't know. I would hope they would have, exhausted every measure. but we aggressively have to go after industry to come to this area. U.S. Sugar and agriculture has been great, but we actually have land that we can complement other jobs and increase our tax base with hopefully lowering taxes.
Okay. Thank you. And Mike, the same question to you.
Yeah, so like Raymond said, one of the biggest issues is tax base, money, resources. The county is limited on resources right now. Goes back to the city commission. The year I was elected in 2016, the city didn't have the $25,000. The city's in much better shape now, thanks to commissioners and, you know, city manager and everything else. But it's something that we have to work on, is the tax base, businesses, housing, to get this in the other direction, where we don't have to worry so much on what we're going to do next year. And I know we have to worry year to year, because obviously the better we get, we want to lower taxes. You know, so we're always going to have to fight that unless you keep taxes high.
Okay. Okay. So we have a couple of folks on Facebook with us, and just wanting to make sure that I haven't actually gotten a question yet, just people watching. So if you guys have questions out on Facebook land, be sure to drop them below, because that window is closing quickly. Mike, I have you unmuted, so I'm going to go ahead and let you do your final 2 minutes. And if anything rolls in, we'll deal with that as it comes in.
Okay. So what I would like to tell the voters is, I've been on the city commission for 3.5 years. Everything I've done on the city commission, I've tried to be as transparent and consistent as I can. And that's one thing that I would continue to do on the county. Another thing that I've done, whenever I ran for the city, I promised everyone that as a contractor, I would not do work for the city. I've kept that promise. I haven't done work for the city. If I make it the county commissioner, which I hope I do in August and go on to November, I'll make that same promise to the residents of Hendry County, that I'll work for them and not my pocket. And I will not do work for the county as I've done for the city. And I appreciate their vote. Early voting starts Monday, August 3rd, goes through the 15th, and election day is on the 18th. And I hope to see you there, and I appreciate your vote.
All right, thank you. Okay, Raymond, I have you unmuted for your final 2 minutes.
Thank you. So I come to you with 31 years of management experience. My father raised me and told me that don't do anything that'll ruin the family's last name. And I go to work every day knowing that I'm going to give 110%. I actually come to work for whoever I work for and act like I own that place, because I feel like I have a vested interest. At the end of the day, if you want somebody passionate, somebody's going to be relentless, someone's going to fight for you, then I'm going to be your candidate. And I ask for your vote August 18th. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to unmute you both as we get ready to close this out. I still don't have any Facebook questions, but again, if you're watching this on Facebook, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Raymond and Michael will monitor this. And if you do have questions, go ahead and post them below, and they'll circle back around and answer you, you know, give you their opinion or whatever that might be. I know it's tough because it's a work day or during the work day. But it will remain on the Chamber's Facebook page. We'll continue to kind of push it, pin it to the top. So you guys, please watch it. Please watch for the comments and do your due diligence there, because it's a great opportunity, like I said, to speak to your voters. Actually, if you have, yeah, we have a little bit of time if you guys are cool with this. What's your vision? And Raymond, you just went, Mike went first before, so Raymond will go first now. What is your vision for the Montura community that you'll be representing? Well, this seat doesn't represent the Montura community, does it?
Yes, so it's north of 27.
North.
Yeah, north of Highway 27, State Road 720, a portion of Port LaBelle and Montura.
Oh, gotcha. You're right. Okay. So, sorry, Jennifer. What is your vision for the Montura community that you'll be representing and has been underrepresented in the past? That's a question from a Facebook user.
Well, I've spent a lot of time in Montura here recently since August of last year. In August of last year, when actually Hurricane Michael was coming about, I actually saw a blighted trailer that was at the main entrance of Montura. And the county had been doing their due diligence, and it's been under code enforcement since January 2018. But like I said before, I'm a passionate, I'm aggressive kind of person. And through working with that property owner, we were able to tear that property down sooner than the county's process through the magistrate was happening. One of the things that Montura lacks in is internet. COVID has really hit hard to all the students of Hendry County, but when you hit a rural area like Montura, that the infrastructure is not there, their internet is not there, they really struggle. How do we overcome that? We have to partner with people in the state and hopefully at the federal level to come in and bring a broadband service. I've actually been working with an outfit, and we've measured Montura. It's got about 233 miles of road, and we're looking at a project there. But let me tell you, it's going to be costly. Just to put the fiber in the ground, you're looking at $3.5 million. This county doesn't have that kind of money. So, and next year, I can tell you that with COVID happening, that next year we're probably heading into a recession. Dollars are going to be cut, and we're going to have shortfalls. But moving forward, it's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, but it's going to have to be something in the future.
Okay, thank you. Mike, let me find the question again. Hold on. What is your vision for the Montura community that you'll be representing and that has been underrepresented in the past?
So, like you say, Montura has been forgotten for a lot of years. They need someone to be out there to care about them as much as they care about everywhere else. Port LaBelle needs attention. Montura needs attention. Just because they're out away from town, away from everything else, everyone kind of forgets about them. So they do need someone to step in and help them. They are not a city. Central County can only do so much with the small taxes that they get. So as a commissioner, I would advocate for them to get more resources to help them with recreation, help them with roads, help them with all the infrastructure that's needed for them to succeed, and to get all of Montura cleaned up into a certain level of living. You go by places out there now and they've been left alone for 30 years. And at that, when you're left alone for so long, things deteriorate and they just become normal. We have to educate and say that we live in the greatest nation on the earth. And we have to show them that we have a standard of living and help them get to that. So that's my vision for Montura, is to help people get to that certain level. And it's difficult because of the average income in that area. But I believe it's a possibility as long as they're being represented correctly.
Okay. I have another question that came in, and we'll leave it with Mike to go first. How many hours a month are you budgeting to serve in the county commissioner seat if elected?
Whatever it takes. Right now on the city commission, sometimes I deal with city issues for 5 hours. Sometimes it's 10 or 20 hours a week. When Hurricane Irma come through, I took almost 4 weeks off of business and let my dad run the business, and I tended to city business before the storm, preparing, after the storm of handing out ice and water and food. So I believe as a community servant, that comes first. So you have to, whatever it takes to get that job done, regardless if it's 1 hour a day or 5 hours a day, you have to take that time to fulfill those duties that you've put yourself in.
Okay, thank you. And Raymond, the same question to you. How many hours a month are you budgeting to serve in the county commission seat if elected?
Well, that's a great question because it's not I don't look at it as a monthly thing. I look at it as being a county commissioner is a full-time job. Your phone's not going to stop. Sierra's gone off at school. Her room is now my office, my war room. I've got 2 assistants here at the marina, and they'll be part of my team, taking the pressure off me at the marina. My boss has been very supportive. Anything that I've needed since I filed to run has been phenomenal. So I got to tell you, it's going to be endless. 40 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever it takes.
Thank you. And it looks like we don't have any more questions. There's a couple of comments or whatever. So thanks, guys, for those questions. To those of you that are watching on Facebook, thank you for submitting those. And thank you to Raymond and Mike for joining us today. And as a reminder, early voting does start on Monday. If you have any questions or concerns about that, visit the Supervisor of Elections Office website and or give them a call. All their contact information is there. Brenda runs a tight ship there at the Supervisor of Elections Office, so she's sure to be able to have answers for any questions you guys might have. So give her a call, and just be sure to get out and vote. Just, our goal, again, I say this at the recap of every single one of these, our goal is not to sway a voter in any one direction or the other, but just to make sure that we as voters are all making the most educated choices that we can. So I really appreciate you guys joining us to talk to your folks, and good luck.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a great weekend.
You too.